Hello there, and welcome to the Dreamy Ocean Channel. Maybe the day felt long, perhaps filled with 1,000 small demands, each one pulling at your attention. Now, as the world outside begins to quiet its insistent hum, it is time for you to soften, to let go. Allow your body to sink a little deeper into comfort, feeling the gentle support beneath you. Unclench your jaw, letting your teeth part softly. Drop your shoulders, releasing any lingering tension, and feel your breath deepen, slowing into a natural, calming rhythm. Let each exhale carry away a whisper of the day's concerns, inviting a profound stillness to settle within you. Tonight, we will gently explore the vast, shimmering expanse of our planet's oceans, a place teeming with life, both familiar and utterly alien, where some of the most extraordinary stories are held within creatures so tiny they are almost invisible to the human eye, yet capable of leaving an indelible mark on those who encounter them. Let us now together allow our minds to float gently into these deep, mysterious waters, carried towards the quiet shores of sleep. Unveiling the Irukandji mystery, the vast, shimmering expanse of the ocean holds within its ancient depths a profound quietude, a gentle, rhythmic breathing that has cradled life for eons. Beneath the sun-drenched surface, in waters that glow with an otherworldly turquoise lie, secrets that whisper through the currents tales of beauty and of potent, unseen forces. It is within these warm, inviting embrace of the tropical seas, particularly along the northern coastlines of Australia, that a subtle yet deeply unsettling mystery began to unfold, not with a sudden roar, but with a series of quiet, perplexing incidents like soft ripples spreading from an invisible stone dropped into the calmest pool. For generations, those who lived closest to these waters, the indigenous peoples whose connection to the sea ran deeper than memory, and later the intrepid fishermen, the pearl divers, the coastal settlers, had recounted strange, disquieting experiences. They spoke of a peculiar illness that could strike without warning, emerging from an encounter with something unseen, something too small to register against the vastness of the ocean. It was not the fiery, immediate agony of a known sting, but a delayed, insidious progression of symptoms that seemed to defy easy explanation. Victims would initially feel little more than a mild prick, perhaps a fleeting warmth, a sensation so innocuous it was often dismissed, fading quickly from conscious thought as they continued their day amidst the sun-dappled waves. Yet hours later, as the vibrant tropical light softened into the long purple hues of evening, or even as the first hints of dawn touched the horizon, a profound disquiet would begin to stir within them. A pervasive, deep-seated ache would spread through their muscles, intensifying into cramping that gripped the limbs with an unyielding force. Their heads would throb, a persistent pressure building behind the eyes, accompanied by a relentless nausea that churned within the stomach. Beads of sweat would emerge, glistening on their skin despite the temperate air, a cold dampness that spoke of an internal struggle. These were not the symptoms of a simple ailment. They were too severe, too widespread, too profoundly distressing. And perhaps most disturbingly interwoven with this physical torment was a creeping sense of unease, a profound anxiety that seemed to emanate from the very core of their being, a feeling of impending doom that settled upon the mind like a heavy, suffocating blanket. These enigmatic encounters were initially attributed to a myriad of causes, often dismissed as heat-stroke food poisoning, or simply the exaggerated tales of those unaccustomed to the rigors of the sea. The medical community, confronted with patients exhibiting a perplexing array of symptoms that mimicked various severe systemic reactions, found themselves without a clear diagnosis, struggling to connect the dots between a barely perceptible ocean encounter and such a dramatic, life-threatening response. The culprit remained elusive, a phantom menace dwelling in the cerulean depths, leaving behind only the profound suffering of its victims and the growing frustration of those who sought to understand and alleviate their pain. It was from the deep ancestral wisdom of the Yirrganydji people, the traditional owners of the coastal lands around Cairns in far north Queensland, that a name for this unseen tormentor finally emerged, a whisper passed down through generations. They called it Irukandji. This name, rich with cultural resonance, carried with it not just a description of the illness, but a respectful acknowledgement of the ocean's power and the intricate, often dangerous balance of its ecosystem. The Yirrganydji people, with their profound understanding of their marine environment, had long recognized the distinct nature of this affliction, distinguishing it from other marine stings, and possessing a knowledge that predated scientific classification by centuries. Their oral histories, woven into the fabric of their lives by the sea, spoke of this tiny, potent presence, a testament to their enduring connection to the land and water that sustained them. The mid-1900s brought a new urgency to this enduring mystery. As more people ventured into the alluring tropical waters for recreation and livelihood, the incidence of these baffling Irukandji syndrome cases began to rise, drawing the focused attention of a dedicated and tenacious physician named Dr. Jack Barnes. Working in Cairns, a vibrant gateway to the Great Barrier Reef, Dr. Barnes found himself repeatedly confronted by patients exhibiting the same bewildering constellation of symptoms: the delayed onset, the excruciating pain, the profuse sweating, the vomiting, the crippling muscle spasms, and that chilling, pervasive sense of psychological dread. He observed the patterns, listened intently to the harrowing accounts, and formed a hypothesis that a minute, unidentifiable jellyfish, far smaller and more potent than any known sea wasp, was responsible. Driven by an unwavering scientific curiosity and a profound desire to alleviate the suffering he witnessed, Dr. Barnes embarked on a meticulous, almost unprecedented quest to identify the elusive perpetrator. His method was as bold as it was methodical, a testament to the dedication of early toxinologists. In the year 1964, with the clarity of purpose that often accompanies groundbreaking discovery, he ventured into the very waters from which his patients had emerged, carefully collecting various small, transparent jellyfish that were common in the area. His laboratory, a place of quiet contemplation and precise observation, became the stage for a series of carefully controlled, self-sacrificial experiments. With a courage that speaks volumes of his scientific conviction, Dr. Barnes meticulously applied minute samples of these collected jellyfish to his own skin. He observed, he waited, he documented. The initial stings were so minor, so fleeting, that they were barely noticeable, confirming the early reports from victims. But it was the delayed reaction, the insidious creep of the syndrome that he sought to replicate and confirm. And indeed, as the hours passed, the familiar, terrifying symptoms began to manifest, first as a subtle unease, then escalating into the full, agonizing grip of the Irukandji syndrome, confirming his hypothesis with undeniable personal proof. To further solidify his findings, and with the informed consent of a brave volunteer lifeguard, and even his own son, similar controlled exposures were conducted, each yielding the same undeniable, harrowing results, firmly establishing the direct link between a specific tiny jellyfish and the devastating syndrome it caused. Through this extraordinary dedication, the invisible predator was finally brought into the light of scientific understanding. Dr. Barnes identified a minuscule box jellyfish, a creature barely larger than a human fingernail, often measuring less than 1 cubic centimeter, its bell, a translucent, almost ethereal dome, its 4 slender tentacles trailing behind, like nearly invisible threads in the water. This was the Yirrganydji, named in honor of its discoverer, a testament to his profound contribution. Its body, composed of 95% water, rendered it virtually undetectable in the shimmering marine environment, a ghost in the aqueous medium, making its discovery all the more remarkable. The formal identification of Yirrganydji was a monumental step, yet it was merely the opening chapter in the unfolding story of the Irukandji mystery. Unveiling the creature itself only deepened the enigma of its disproportionate power. How could such a tiny organism, so delicate and almost imperceptible, produce a venom capable of inducing such widespread systemic distress, such profound physiological disruption, and perhaps most hauntingly, that unique, terrifying psychological component, the feeling of impending doom? The question lingered a quiet hum beneath the surface of scientific inquiry, beckoning researchers deeper into the molecular intricacies of its venom and the complex biological responses it triggered. The initial identification sparked a global fascination, transforming a localized medical mystery into a subject of intense scientific scrutiny. The Irukandji jellyfish, once an anonymous whisper from the deep, now had a name, a form, and a recognized place in the pantheon of the ocean's most potent, yet paradoxically most unassuming inhabitants. Yet its habits, its full distribution, the precise chemical composition of its venom, and the exact mechanisms through which it exerted its devastating effects remained largely unknown, veiled by the very transparency and minuteness that had allowed it to evade detection for so long. The journey of understanding had just begun, a slow, deliberate dive into the heart of a mystery that continues to captivate and challenge our understanding of life's intricate, often perilous designs. The ocean in its endless embrace continued to hold many more secrets, and the Irukandji in its silent potency stood as a profound reminder of the delicate balance between beauty and danger that defines our watery world. Anatomy of the invisible predator. From the profound depths where the Irukandji once whispered its anonymous warnings, we now draw our focus, allowing our minds to gently settle upon the physical form of this extraordinary creature, a miniature marvel that challenges our very perception of power and scale. Imagine, if you will, holding a single grain of rice between your fingers, or perhaps a small iridescent pearl. The Irukandji jellyfish in its adult stage often presents a bell, no larger than these tiny objects, typically measuring a mere 1 to 2 centimeters across its delicate cuboidal frame. It is a creature of such exquisite smallness that its very existence seems to defy the immense forces of the ocean it inhabits, a testament to nature's capacity for concentrated potency within the most unassuming packages. Its body, a gelatinous masterpiece, is almost entirely composed of water, rendering it extraordinarily fragile yet perfectly adapted for its aqueous realm. The bell, the main body of the jellyfish, is not the familiar dome of many other species, but rather possesses a distinctive, almost geometric form, like a soft, translucent cube. This cuboidal shape, though subtle, is a defining characteristic, placing it within the lineage of the box jellyfish, or cubozoa. When suspended in the clear, sunlit waters near the surface, or drifting through the deeper sapphire currents, the Irukandji becomes almost perfectly camouflaged. Its transparency is absolute, a crystalline clarity that allows light to pass through its tissues with hardly any refraction, making it virtually invisible to the naked eye. It is as if the creature itself is a living lens blending seamlessly with the surrounding water, a ghost in the fluid world. This invisibility is not merely an aesthetic quality, it is a fundamental aspect of its predatory strategy and its evasive nature. One might gaze directly at an Irukandji suspended just inches away and perceive nothing but the shimmering water, the gentle play of light. Perhaps a few drifting particles of plankton. There is no vibrant hue, no contrasting pattern, no solid mass to catch the eye. It is a creature designed to be overlooked, to drift through its watery home like an unwritten thought, a fleeting shadow until the moment of its silent, potent interaction. Perched delicately along the rim of this transparent bell at each of its four corners are specialized sensory structures known as rhopalia. These are not merely simple spots of light detection, but complex organs that serve as the jellyfish's windows to its world. Each rhopalium is a tiny stalk-like appendage containing a cluster of sophisticated sensory equipment. Within these miniature structures reside multiple eyes, some simple pits designed to detect changes in light intensity, while others are more complex, possessing lenses and retinas capable of forming images. These eyes, though primitive compared to our own, allow the Irukandji to navigate its intricate environment, to perceive objects, and to orient itself within the water column. They help it detect the subtle movements of its prey, or the looming presence of a potential predator, transforming its transparent form into a finely tuned hunter. Beyond vision, the rhopalia also house statocysts, tiny balance organs akin to our inner ear. These delicate sacs contain statoliths, small, dense particles that shift with the jellyfish's movement, pressing against sensory hairs. This intricate mechanism provides the Irukandji with a precise sense of its orientation in space, allowing it to maintain its equilibrium, to swim purposefully, and to sense gravity's pull. It is through these remarkable, almost imperceptible organs that the Irukandji, despite its lack of a centralized brain, can perceive the world in a rudimentary yet highly effective manner, a silent sentinel drifting through the currents, keenly aware of its surroundings. From each of the four lower corners of the cuboidal bell, where the rhopalia are also located, extend the creature's most formidable weapons, its tentacles. These are not the thick rope-like appendages one might associate with larger jellyfish. Instead, the Irukandji's tentacles are extraordinarily fine, almost thread-like, so slender they are practically imperceptible in the water. When fully extended, these delicate filaments can stretch to astonishing lengths, often reaching 20 to 30 times the diameter of the bell itself, sometimes extending over a meter into the surrounding water. Imagine a bell the size of a pea trailing behind it, invisible strands that could reach from your hand to the floor. This vast, silent net spread through the water allows the tiny jellyfish to effectively scan a much larger volume of ocean for prey, vastly increasing its hunting efficiency. Along the entire length of these ethereal tentacles, and uniquely in some species of Irukandji, like Carukia barnesi, even sparsely distributed across the surface of the bell itself, are millions of microscopic stinging cells, known as nematocysts. These are the true architects of the Irukandji's formidable reputation. Each nematocyst is a marvel of biological engineering, a tiny pressurized capsule containing a coiled, barbed harpoon-like filament bathed in a potent cocktail of venom. These miniature weapons are not under conscious control. Instead, they are triggered by contact firing automatically upon sensing chemical or mechanical stimuli from passing prey or an unwitting swimmer. The sheer density of these nematocysts lining the invisible threads of the tentacles creates an incredibly efficient and devastating delivery system for its venom. Beneath the bell, suspended from its center, is the manubrium, a short, fleshy stalk that serves as the jellyfish's mouth. This simple opening, surrounded by 4 oral arms in some species, is the gateway to its digestive system. When prey, typically small fish or crustaceans, are subdued by the venomous tentacles, they are carefully maneuvered towards this central orifice, ingested and then digested within the internal cavity of the bell. The digestive process is aided by gastric filaments, delicate structures lining the interior of the bell, which secrete digestive enzymes, breaking down the captured food into nutrients that sustain the tiny predator. The internal structure of the Irukandji, though seemingly simple, is highly efficient. Lacking a centralized brain or a complex circulatory system, its life functions are managed by a diffuse nerve net that permeates its entire body. This nerve net allows for coordinated movements such as the rhythmic pulsations of its bell, which propel it through the water. These contractions of the muscular tissues within the bell create a jet propulsion effect, pushing water out from beneath the bell, allowing the Irukandji to move with a surprising degree of control and agility, despite its delicate appearance. It is a dance of expansion and contraction, a slow, mesmerizing pulse that carries it through the sunlit shallows and the twilight zones of its habitat. Despite its almost ethereal delicacy, its near invisibility, and its minuscule stature, the Irukandji is a creature of profound biological sophistication. Every aspect of its anatomy, from its transparent cuboidal bell to its multi-lensed rhopalia and its impossibly fine venom-laden tentacles, is perfectly honed for survival in its vast competitive marine world. It is a testament to the intricate wonders hidden within the ocean's embrace, a silent, potent hunter, drifting with an almost dreamlike grace, yet carrying within its delicate form a power that commands respect and deep contemplation. The more we learn of its physical structure, the more profound becomes the mystery of how such a miniature marvel can wield such immense life-altering force, a question that continues to echo through the quiet chambers of scientific inquiry. Unpacking the nematophyst mechanism. As our understanding gently deepens, drifting from the Irukandji's almost invisible anatomy, our focus now narrows, drawn into the profound micro-universe of its most potent weapon, the nematocyst. Imagine, if you will, millions upon millions of these microscopic structures, not randomly scattered, but meticulously arranged along the impossibly fine trailing threads of the jellyfish's tentacles, like an intricate silent armament. Each nematocyst is a marvel of biological engineering, a self-contained high-pressure dart gun exquisitely designed for instantaneous, devastating effect. It is a testament to the evolutionary pressures of the deep, where survival often hinges on the swiftness and potency of an unseen strike. To truly grasp the genius of the nematocyst, we must first visualize its intricate architecture. Picture a tiny, oval-shaped capsule, often no more than a few micrometers in length, so small that 1,000 of them could line up across the width of a human hair. Within the confines of this miniature casing, a long, hollow, barbed tubule lies coiled with extraordinary precision, like a tightly wound spring, or a miniature harpoon, all compressed and inverted upon itself. The venom, a complex cocktail of neurotoxins and other compounds, resides within this capsule, waiting for its moment of release. At one end of this capsule, a delicate cap, or operculum, acts as a sealed lid, holding the immense internal pressure at bay. Protruding from the outer surface of the cell that houses the nematocyst is a hair-like trigger mechanism, a tiny sensory bristle known as the cnidocyl, the silent sentinel awaiting contact. The firing of a nematocyst is not a conscious act on the part of the jellyfish. It is an involuntary, reflex-like response, an ancient biological program etched into its cellular memory. This exquisite mechanism is triggered by a combination of mechanical and chemical stimuli. The slightest brush against a passing fish, the gentle friction of human skin, or the detection of specific chemical cues emanating from potential prey is enough to activate the synidocyle. This tiny sensory hair acts like a tripwire, sending an immediate signal that initiates an astonishing cascade of events unfolding with a speed that borders on the unfathomable. The true marvel of the nematocyst lies in the incredible osmotic pressure that is maintained within its capsule. Inside, a highly concentrated solution of salts and proteins creates an osmotic gradient so profound that it generates an internal pressure estimated to be upwards of 150 atmospheres. A force comparable to that found in the cylinders of a deep-sea submersible, or the pressure exerted by a column of water extending over 1,500 meters. This immense preloaded energy is the engine of the silent dart. When the kinetocyle is triggered, the permeability of the capsule wall surrounding the operculum instantly shifts. Water, obeying the laws of osmosis, rushes into the capsule at an astonishing rate, further increasing the already monumental internal pressure. This sudden explosive increase in pressure, concentrated within such a minute space, forces the delicate operculum to snap open. It is a sudden, almost violent release, a microscopic pop that unleashes the coiled weapon within. What follows is one of the fastest biological processes known to science. The coiled tubule under the immense pressure does not simply uncoil. It undergoes a process called eversion. Imagine a glove being turned inside out with incredible force and speed. The entire tubule literally inverts, propelling itself outwards from the capsule, its barbed shaft leading the way. This eversion happens in a mere fraction of a microsecond, with an acceleration reaching an astounding 5 million Gs. An acceleration so extreme it dwarfs anything conceived by human engineering. The barbed shaft, now fully everted, acts like a spear, piercing the surface of the target with remarkable precision and depth. The barbs, designed to anchor the tubule firmly within the tissue, prevent it from being dislodged, ensuring the efficient delivery of its payload. Following the initial penetration, the remaining length of the hollow tubule continues to evert, burrowing deeper into the victim's flesh, creating a direct conduit. And through this microscopic channel, the potent venom previously contained within the capsule is forcefully injected. It is a process of unparalleled efficiency, a silent, lightning-fast strike that bypasses the outer defenses of its target, delivering its toxic cocktail directly into the internal environment. The design of the Irukandji's nematocysts, particularly those responsible for delivering its potent venom, appears to be exquisitely adapted for subduing small, fast-moving prey, such as larval fish or tiny crustaceans. These creatures are often swift and agile, capable of escaping a slower, less precise attack. The rapid high-pressure injection ensures that even a fleeting contact can result in effective envenomation, paralyzing the prey, almost instantly preventing its escape. For the Irukandji, whose transparency makes it a nearly invisible ambush predator, this silent dart mechanism is paramount to its survival, allowing it to efficiently capture the sustenance it needs in the vast, open ocean. But the mechanism also holds profound implications for larger organisms, including humans. When a swimmer brushes against an Irukandji's tentacles, hundreds, perhaps thousands of these minute nematocysts can fire simultaneously. Each individual injection is minuscule, almost imperceptible, often feeling no more than a pinprick, a fleeting warmth, or even nothing at all. This explains the characteristic delayed onset of Irukandji syndrome, as the initial physical sensation is so minor that it rarely signals the catastrophic biological event that has just begun to unfold within the body. The venom, once injected, does not remain localized. Instead, its molecular components begin their insidious journey, spreading through the bloodstream, reaching distant organs and nerve endings, initiating the profound systemic distress that defines the syndrome. It is important to note that not all nematocysts are designed for venom delivery. Jellyfish possess a variety of these microscopic weapons, each with a specialized function. Some are designed for adhesion, helping the jellyfish anchor itself or cling to surfaces. Others are for entanglement, ensnaring prey with sticky threads. But the nematocysts of the Irukandji that concern us most are the penetrant type, the stenoteles, which are specifically engineered to pierce and inject. The sheer concentration of these penetrant nematocysts on its tentacles, combined with their incredible speed and efficiency, is what makes the Irukandji such a formidable, albeit tiny, predator, and a significant concern for those who share its watery domain. The evolutionary journey that led to the development of such a sophisticated and potent mechanism in a creature so small is a testament to the relentless refinement of nature. For the Irukandji, a creature lacking complex sensory organs or powerful musculature for direct pursuit, the nematocyst is its ultimate equalizer, its silent declaration of presence in a world of larger, faster, and seemingly more dominant organisms. It is a perfect example of how, in the intricate tapestry of life, immense power can be condensed into the most unassuming forms, capable of unleashing effects that resonate far beyond their microscopic origins, leaving us to ponder the delicate balance between the unseen and the profound. The silent dart, having pierced the surface, now begins its deeper molecular work, setting the stage for the body's complex, agonizing response. The molecular symphony of suffering, unraveling the venom's chemistry. As the microscopic harpoon of the nematocyst pierces the delicate barrier of the skin, its potent cargo, the Irukandji venom begins its silent, insidious journey. It is not a single, isolated molecule, but rather a complex, exquisitely crafted cocktail, a molecular symphony of suffering designed by millions of years of evolution to overwhelm and incapacitate. Imagine this venom as a collection of invisible keys, each one perfectly shaped to unlock specific doors within the intricate architecture of our nervous system and other vital bodily functions. And as these keys turn, they do not merely open doors, they jam them open or force them shut, disrupting the harmonious flow of signals that govern every beat of the heart, every breath, every thought. The study of this venom is a profound challenge, akin to trying to understand a vast, complex orchestral piece by analyzing only a few scattered notes. The sheer minuteness of the Irukandji means that the amount of venom injected in a single sting is almost immeasurable, a mere whisper of fluid. Extracting enough of it for comprehensive biochemical analysis requires immense dedication and sophisticated techniques, often involving the painstaking collection of countless individual jellyfish. Yet through the persistent efforts of dedicated scientists, a clearer, albeit still incomplete picture of this molecular masterpiece has begun to emerge from the shadows of the deep. At the heart of the Irukandji venom's devastating power are its neurotoxins. These are molecules specifically engineered to interact with the nervous system, the vast, intricate network of electrical and chemical pathways that orchestrates every sensation, every movement, every conscious and unconscious process within the body. Scientists currently theorize that the primary mode of action for many of these neurotoxins is the forced release of vital neurotransmitters. the chemical messengers that allow nerve cells to communicate with each other and with muscles and glands. Two such neurotransmitters, norepinephrine, also known as noradrenaline, and acetylcholine, are believed to be profoundly affected. Norepinephrine is a crucial component of our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response system. It is the chemical surge that prepares the body for immediate action, elevating heart rate, constricting blood vessels to raise blood pressure, dilating pupils, and shunting blood away from non-essential functions towards muscles. Normally, its release is tightly regulated, a precise burst in response to stress or danger. However, the Irukandji venom acts as a relentless, indiscriminate trigger, forcing an uncontrolled, massive outpouring of norepinephrine from nerve endings throughout the body. Imagine a dam suddenly bursting, unleashing a torrent where only a gentle stream should flow. This chemical flood overwhelms the body's regulatory mechanisms, pushing every system into a state of extreme, sustained alert, a perpetual fight or flight response that cannot be switched off. Simultaneously, other components of the venom are believed to interfere with acetylcholine, another critical neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine plays a vital role in both the central nervous system, influencing memory and learning, and the peripheral nervous system, where it is the primary messenger for muscle contraction and functions of the parasympathetic system, which controls rest and digest responses. While the exact mechanism of acetylcholine disruption by Irukandji venom is still being meticulously investigated, its involvement contributes to the widespread muscle cramping and potentially other autonomic dysfunctions observed in Yirrganydji syndrome victims. The delicate balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems essential for the body's internal harmony is violently thrown into disarray by this molecular onslaught. The direct consequence of this massive, uncontrolled release of neurotransmitters manifests as a cascade of severe physical symptoms. The cardiovascular system bears a significant brunt. The overwhelming surge of norepinephrine causes peripheral vasoconstriction, a tightening of blood vessels, which dramatically elevates blood pressure, often to dangerously high levels. Simultaneously, the heart, bombarded by these chemical signals, begins to beat with an alarming rapidity, a condition known as tachycardia. This combination of extreme hypertension and rapid heart rate places an immense strain on the heart, pushing it to its limits. In severe cases, this can lead to myocardial injury, a direct damage to the heart muscle, or even acute heart failure, as the heart simply cannot sustain such an extreme workload. Furthermore, the increased pressure within the blood vessels can force fluid out into the lungs, causing pulmonary edema, a dangerous accumulation of fluid that impairs breathing, making each breath a struggle. Beyond the cardiovascular system, the venom's neurotoxic effects ripple through the entire body. The excruciating generalized muscle pain and cramping that characterize Irukandji syndrome are thought to stem directly from the sustained overstimulation of muscle fibers by these neurotransmitters, forcing them into prolonged involuntary contractions. It is a relentless, deep-seated ache that permeates the very fabric of the muscles, transforming simple movement into an act of profound agony. The profuse sweating, the relentless nausea, and the violent vomiting are all manifestations of the venom's widespread disruption of the autonomic nervous system. The unconscious controls governing digestion, temperature, regulation, and other vital bodily processes. The body, in its desperate struggle to cope with the internal chemical storm, reacts with these intense visceral responses. And then there is the most haunting symptom, the doom syndrome, a profound and overwhelming feeling of impending death, a terror that transcends mere fear and seems to emanate from the very core of one's being. This is not simply a psychological reaction to severe pain or illness. Scientists believe it is a direct chemically induced effect of the venom on the brain. The massive, uncontrolled release of stress hormones and neurotransmitters, particularly within the limbic system, the brain's ancient center for emotion, fear, and survival, can trigger an extreme state of panic and dread. The brain, flooded with signals of extreme physiological distress, interprets this as an imminent existential threat, manifesting as an unbearable sense of terror, an overwhelming conviction that death is at hand. Victims often plead with doctors to end their suffering not just from the physical pain, but from this profound, chemically induced psychological torment, a terror that feels inescapable. While neurotoxins and their effects on neurotransmitters are considered the primary drivers of Irukandji syndrome, researchers also believe other classes of toxins may contribute to the venom's overall potency. Some venoms contain pore-forming toxins which can create tiny channels in cell membranes, disrupting cellular integrity and function. Others might contain enzymes that break down tissues or components that modulate inflammation. The precise role of each individual component within the Irukandji's complex venom cocktail is still a subject of ongoing, intensive research. It is a biological puzzle of immense complexity, where each piece, however small, holds a key to understanding the full picture of the suffering it inflicts. The delayed onset of symptoms, often hours after the initial barely perceptible sting, is another perplexing aspect that the venom's chemistry helps to explain. It takes time for the minute amount of venom injected to diffuse through the tissues, to enter the bloodstream, and to accumulate in sufficient concentrations to trigger the widespread release of neurotransmitters. It is a gradual, insidious process, a slow buildup of molecular chaos that eventually overwhelms the body's homeostatic mechanisms, tipping the delicate balance into a state of profound distress. This delay is precisely what makes the Irukandji sting so deceptive and dangerous, as victims often do not realize the gravity of their exposure until the full, agonizing symphony of symptoms begins to play. Unraveling the complete chemical composition of the Irukandji venom, identifying each active component, and understanding its precise molecular target remains one of the most compelling frontiers in marine toxicology. Such knowledge holds the promise of developing more specific antidotes and targeted treatments, moving beyond symptomatic relief towards truly neutralizing the venom's devastating effects. For now, the Irukandji venom stands as a potent reminder of the incredible, often terrifying sophistication that can be packed into the smallest of biological packages. A silent molecular architect of profound suffering, whose secrets continue to slowly, painstakingly be brought into the light. The physical onset of Irukandji syndrome. After the fleeting, almost imperceptible brush with the Irukandji's microscopic darts, a deceptive calm often descends. The initial contact, so insignificant, so minor that it might pass without conscious recognition, leaves behind no immediate scar, no fiery warning, no angry welt to signal the profound biological drama that has just been set in motion. It is a moment of false tranquility, a quiet lull before the body begins its slow, agonizing betrayal, driven by the silent molecular command of the venom. For perhaps 30 minutes or even several hours, depending on the individual's sensitivity and the amount of venom absorbed, the unwitting recipient of the sting may continue their activities unaware of the potent chemical storm brewing beneath the surface of their skin. Then gently at first, like the softest whisper of a distant approaching storm, the first symptoms begin to stir. A faint, localized ache might emerge at the site of the sting, a subtle itching or a mild burning sensation easily dismissed as a minor irritation. Sometimes a tiny, almost invisible red mark like a pinprick might appear, but often even this telltale sign is absent, leaving no physical evidence of the encounter. This initial phase is often so benign that it rarely prompts alarm, allowing the venom more time to diffuse, to spread its molecular tendrils through the bloodstream, reaching deeper into the intricate network of nerves and organs. As the venom circulates, reaching the sympathetic nervous system and triggering the widespread release of neurochemicals, the insidious creep of Irukandji syndrome truly begins. The body, once a harmonious sanctuary, starts to react in ways that feel profoundly alien and distressing. One of the most pervasive and defining physical symptoms is the onset of generalized, excruciating muscle pain and cramping. Initially, this might manifest as a deep, dull ache, a persistent throbbing that seems to emanate from the very core of the muscles, particularly in the back, the abdomen, and the limbs. This ache, however, does not recede. Instead, it intensifies, becoming a relentless, gripping cramp that seizes the muscles with an unyielding force. It is not the familiar soreness of exertion, but a profound, involuntary contraction, a twisting and tightening that can leave the victim writhing in discomfort, unable to find relief, as if their own musculature has turned against them. Concurrently with the escalating muscle pain, a severe headache often begins to pound behind the eyes, a relentless pressure that feels as though the skull itself is being squeezed. This headache is often accompanied by a profound and persistent nausea, a churning in the stomach that quickly progresses to violent and uncontrollable vomiting. The body, in its desperate attempt to purge the unseen invader, expends immense energy in these retching spasms, leaving the victim weakened and dehydrated, yet finding no lasting relief from the internal turmoil. As the body's autonomic systems are overwhelmed, another striking symptom emerges: profuse, drenching sweats. Despite the often warm, humid environment of the tropics, a cold, clammy sheen appears on the skin, as if the body is desperately trying to cool an internal furnace that burns with invisible flames. This diaphoresis, this relentless sweating, is not merely uncomfortable. It is a visible manifestation of the extreme physiological stress placed upon the body, a sign of the profound disruption to its temperature regulation and fluid balance. The cardiovascular system, driven by the venom's relentless chemical assault, enters a state of extreme agitation. The heart, no longer beating with its familiar steady rhythm, begins to race with an alarming rapidity, a condition known as tachycardia. This frantic pounding sensation in the chest can be deeply unsettling, a constant reminder of the body's internal struggle. Simultaneously, blood pressure, normally maintained within a narrow, healthy range, surges dramatically, often reaching dangerously high levels. This severe hypertension places an immense strain on the delicate walls of the blood vessels and on the heart itself, forcing it to work against immense resistance. The internal feeling can be one of overwhelming pressure, a sense of constriction, as if the very blood within the veins is pressing outwards with an unnatural force. Beyond these primary manifestations, a host of other distressing physical symptoms can emerge, each contributing to the pervasive sense of illness and distress. Deep, gnawing abdominal pain, often mistaken for other acute conditions, frequently accompanies the muscle cramping, adding another layer of agony. Some individuals experience piloerection, the involuntary contraction of tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles, causing the skin to prickle with goosebumps, a further testament to the widespread activation of the sympathetic nervous system. In the most severe cases, the venom's impact on the cardiovascular system can lead to life-threatening complications. The extreme hypertension and cardiac strain can cause pulmonary edema, where fluid begins to leak from the capillaries into the air sacs of the lungs. This accumulation of fluid makes breathing increasingly difficult, transforming each inhalation into a desperate struggle for air, a suffocating weight pressing down on the chest. The victim may gasp for breath, feeling as though they are drowning on dry land, their lungs unable to efficiently exchange oxygen. This respiratory distress, combined with the profound cardiovascular effects, underscores the critical danger posed by Irukandji syndrome, transforming a microscopic sting into a potential medical emergency. The cumulative effect of these widespread physical symptoms is a state of profound physiological distress, an experience of the body turning against itself, its own regulatory mechanisms hijacked by an unseen molecular adversary. The body aches, it sweats it, vomits its heart, races, its blood pressure soars, and its muscles seize with unrelenting force. It is a relentless, exhausting ordeal, a physical torment that strips away all comfort and leaves the victim in a state of extreme vulnerability, utterly at the mercy of the venom's prolonged and devastating effects. And yet, even amidst this cascade of physical suffering, another, perhaps even more terrifying dimension of Irukandji syndrome begins to manifest, a profound psychological torment that overshadows even the most excruciating pain. Experiencing the doom syndrome. As the Irukandji venom weaves its insidious path through the body, inflicting its cascade of physical torment, an even deeper, more unsettling shadow begins to fall upon the mind. It is a symptom so unique, so profoundly disturbing, that it has earned its own chilling descriptor, the doom syndrome. This is not merely the natural fear or anxiety that might accompany severe pain or life-threatening illness. It is a chemically induced psychological torment, a pervasive, overwhelming sensation of impending death that seems to emanate from the very core of one's being, an inescapable dread that transcends rational thought. Imagine, if you can, a feeling of terror so absolute, so primal, that it overwhelms all other sensations. It is a profound, unshakable conviction that one's life is about to end, a certainty of imminent demise that grips the mind with an icy, unyielding hand. Victims of Irukandji syndrome, even those with no prior history of anxiety or panic, frequently describe this feeling with chilling consistency. They do not merely fear death, they know it is coming with an intensity that is both horrifying and utterly convincing. This deep-seated conviction often manifests in desperate pleas to medical staff, not just for pain relief, but for an end to their suffering, for a release from this profound sense of dread, even if that release is death itself. It is a testament to the sheer mental anguish induced by the venom, a torment that can eclipse even the most excruciating physical pain. Scientists currently theorize that this doom syndrome is a direct pharmacological effect of the venom rather than a purely psychological reaction to the physical symptoms. As we explore, the Irukandji venom triggers a massive, uncontrolled release of catecholamines, particularly norepinephrine, throughout the body. While this chemical surge drives the cardiovascular and muscular symptoms, it also profoundly impacts the brain, especially regions involved in emotion, fear, and survival. The limbic system, a complex network of brain structures including the amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus, is the ancient seat of our emotional responses, our primal instincts for fear, aggression, and memory. When this system is flooded with an overwhelming cascade of stress hormones and neurotransmitters, it can be pushed into an extreme pathological state of panic and terror. The amygdala in particular, a small almond-shaped structure deep within the temporal lobe, plays a critical role in processing fear and generating the fight or flight response. Under the influence of the venom, the amygdala may become hyperactive, firing, relentlessly signaling an existential threat to the rest of the brain, even in the absence of an external danger. It is as if the brain's internal alarm system has been irrevocably jammed in the on position, broadcasting a continuous, deafening signal of imminent catastrophe. This constant, overwhelming internal alarm creates the subjective experience of profound dread and an inescapable sense of doom. Furthermore, the venom's systemic effects, such as extreme hypertension, rapid heart rate, and difficulty breathing, provide a powerful feedback loop to the brain. The body's physiological state of extreme distress is interpreted by the brain as undeniable evidence of a life-threatening crisis, reinforcing the chemically induced sense of impending death. It becomes a vicious cycle. The venom causes physiological chaos, which the brain interprets as a sign of imminent demise, further intensifying the psychological terror, which in turn exacerbates the physiological stress. The psychological impact extends beyond this immediate sense of doom. Victims often report intense anxiety, a feeling of profound restlessness and agitation, an inability to find peace or comfort. They may become disoriented, confused, or even experience transient episodes of delirium as the brain struggles to cope with the overwhelming neurochemical imbalance. Sleep becomes impossible, not just due to the physical pain, but because the mind is trapped in a relentless cycle of fear and alertness, unable to quiet itself, unable to find respite. The very act of closing one's eyes might intensify the internal terror, leaving them in a state of perpetual, agonizing vigilance. The memory of this experience can linger long after the physical symptoms have subsided. Survivors of Irukandji syndrome often describe the doom syndrome as the most terrifying aspect of their ordeal, more harrowing than the excruciating pain. The profound psychological trauma can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, persistent anxiety, or a heightened sense of vulnerability. The memory of that inescapable dread, that absolute conviction of impending death, can haunt them, manifesting as nightmares, flashbacks, or a lingering fear of the ocean even years after the event. The experience fundamentally alters their perception of safety and mortality, leaving an indelible mark on their psyche. The therapeutic challenge presented by the doom syndrome is immense. While medical teams focus on managing the life-threatening physical symptoms, stabilizing blood pressure, alleviating pain, and supporting cardiovascular function, addressing this profound psychological distress requires a delicate and compassionate approach. Sedative medications such as benzodiazepines are often administered not merely to calm the patient's anxiety, but to dampen the overactive neural pathways in the brain that are generating this terror. These medications can help to quiet the internal alarm, to gently turn down the volume on the relentless signals of dread, offering a much-needed, albeit temporary, reprieve from the overwhelming mental anguish. The existence of the doom syndrome underscores the remarkable and often terrifying power of neurotoxins to manipulate the most fundamental aspects of human experience: our emotions, our perceptions, and our very sense of self. It reveals a hidden vulnerability within our complex biology, demonstrating how a tiny creature, through the precise chemical architecture of its venom, can hijack the intricate machinery of the brain to induce a state of profound existential terror. This particular symptom transforms the Irukandji sting from a mere physical injury into a deeply psychological ordeal, a journey into the darkest recesses of the mind, leaving an indelible mark long after the body has begun its slow, arduous path to recovery. The shadow of the mind once cast can linger, a quiet echo of the profound betrayal experienced during the venom's relentless hold. Challenges in detection and diagnosis. The Irukandji jellyfish, in its profound smallness and ethereal transparency, presents one of the most significant challenges to both recognition and diagnosis within the vast, shimmering realm of marine envenomation. It is a creature so exquisitely adapted for invisibility that its very presence in the water often goes entirely unnoticed, transforming the task of identification into a search for a needle in a boundless, shimmering haystack. This elusive nature is the genesis of the diagnostic conundrum that surrounds Irukandji syndrome, transforming a medical emergency into a perplexing puzzle that demands keen observation and a deep understanding of its unique progression. Imagine gazing into the clear, sun-dappled waters of a tropical sea, where light dances upon the surface and penetrates into the turquoise depths. Even with the sharpest vision discerning a creature barely larger than your thumbnail, a bell composed of 95% water with tentacles so fine they resemble invisible threads is an almost impossible feat. It drifts through the currents like a living mirage, a ghost in the fluid medium, leaving no ripple, casting no shadow. Swimmers and divers, even those with years of experience in these waters, can brush against its almost imperceptible form without ever realizing an encounter has occurred. The creature's primary defense and predatory strategy, its near-perfect camouflage, becomes the very source of its diagnostic elusiveness for humans. This invisibility is compounded by the nature of the sting itself. When the millions of microscopic nematocysts fire, delivering their potent venom, the initial sensation is often so mild as to be entirely dismissed. It might feel like a fleeting prick, a momentary warmth, a gentle brush against the skin, or perhaps nothing at all. There is rarely the immediate searing pain, the visible welts, or the angry redness that characterize stings from larger, more robust jellyfish species. This deceptive lack of an immediate painful warning means that victims rarely associate their later profound suffering with an event that felt so utterly insignificant at the time. They might continue swimming, return to shore, or even travel a considerable distance from the water before the true horror of the syndrome begins to unfurl, severing the crucial link between cause and effect in their memory. The infamous delayed onset of symptoms further complicates the diagnostic picture. This period of deceptive calm, stretching from 30 minutes to several hours, post-envenomation, allows the venom to slowly diffuse through the body, accumulating in sufficient concentrations to trigger the systemic cascade of effects. By the time the excruciating muscle pain, the drenching sweats, the relentless vomiting, and the soaring blood pressure begin to manifest, the victim is often far removed from the ocean environment where the sting occurred. They may be at home in a hotel room, or even en route to another destination, making it extraordinarily difficult for them to recall a specific marine encounter, let alone identify it as the source of their escalating distress. This temporal dissociation between exposure and manifestation is a cornerstone of the diagnostic challenge, demanding that medical professionals consider the possibility of Irukandji syndrome, even when the patient does not immediately present with a history of a recent marine sting. When a patient finally seeks medical attention, perhaps hours after the initial sting, the early physical symptoms of Irukandji syndrome present a deceptive mimicry of numerous other common ailments. A severe headache, profound nausea, persistent vomiting, and generalized muscle aches could easily be attributed to heat-stroke food poisoning, a severe viral infection, or even a sudden onset of intense anxiety. The profuse sweating might be mistaken for a fever breaking or a reaction to environmental heat. Without the crucial context of a recent marine sting, and without the characteristic visible marks that accompany most other envenomations, A physician unfamiliar with the distinct clinical picture of Irukandji syndrome might pursue a wide range of differential diagnoses, delaying the appropriate and life-saving treatment. Adding to this complexity is the lack of visible evidence on the skin. Unlike the distinct patterns left by other jellyfish, the Irukandji sting rarely produces a noticeable lesion. There are no prominent tentacle marks, no angry red wheals, no blistering rashes that scream jellyfish sting. At most, a tiny localized redness or a faint, almost invisible prick mark might be present at the site of envenomation, but even these fleeting signs are often overlooked or fade quickly. For medical practitioners who are trained to look for tangible physical evidence to guide their diagnosis, the absence of such clear indicators can be profoundly misleading, making the Irukandji syndrome a diagnosis of exclusion built upon the careful observation of the patient's evolving clinical state rather than a visible wound. Furthermore, the geographical and seasonal variability of Irukandji jellyfish populations plays a significant role in diagnostic challenges. While endemic to the tropical waters of northern Australia, particularly during the warmer months, their presence can fluctuate. Medical professionals in areas less frequently affected, or those who rarely encounter marine envenomations, may simply not have Irukandji syndrome on their immediate list of possibilities when confronted with a patient exhibiting such a constellation of symptoms. This lack of familiarity underscores the critical importance of ongoing education and awareness campaigns for both the public and medical communities in regions where these minuscule potent creatures reside. Patient reporting also presents its own set of challenges. The victim, already overwhelmed by excruciating pain and the profound psychological distress of the doom syndrome, may struggle to articulate their symptoms clearly or recall the precise circumstances of their exposure. The memory of a mild, forgotten prick in the ocean might be entirely overshadowed by the ensuing hours of agony. Language barriers, cultural differences, or even the sheer overwhelming nature of the experience can further impede the clear communication necessary for an accurate medical history, leaving physicians to piece together clues from a patient in profound distress. Given these formidable obstacles, the diagnosis of Irukandji syndrome is primarily a clinical one, relying heavily on the recognition of a characteristic constellation of symptoms, particularly in a patient with a history of exposure to tropical waters. Medical professionals are trained to look for the distinct pattern, the delayed onset of severe generalized muscle pain, intense headache, profuse sweating, nausea and vomiting, and crucially, the elevated blood pressure and rapid heart rate. And perhaps most tellingly, that profound chemically induced sense of impending doom, which, while terrifying for the patient, can serve as a chilling yet vital diagnostic beacon for the experienced clinician. Differential diagnoses are meticulously considered to rule out conditions that might mimic Irukandji syndrome. These can include myocardial infarction or heart attack due to chest pain and cardiovascular stress, severe allergic reactions or anaphylaxis, viral infections, heat stroke, or even drug overdose. However, the unique combination of the specific physical symptoms, particularly the severe muscle cramps and profuse sweating, coupled with the profound psychological component of the doom syndrome and the absence of other explanatory factors, often guides the experienced clinician towards the correct diagnosis. Beyond the immediate medical context, the elusive nature of the Irukandji also poses significant challenges for scientific research and environmental monitoring. Tracking populations of such a small, transparent, and widely dispersed creature is incredibly difficult. This limits our understanding of their precise distribution, their reproductive cycles, their preferred habitats, and how their populations might be influenced by environmental changes such as warming ocean temperatures. Without this ecological knowledge, predicting future risks and developing targeted public health strategies becomes an even more complex endeavor. In essence, the Irukandji jellyfish, despite its minuscule stature, creates a disproportionately large diagnostic quandary. Its invisibility, the innocuous initial sting, the delayed and non-specific early symptoms, and the lack of visible evidence all conspire to make it a true needle in the haystack of marine medicine. Yet through increased awareness, meticulous clinical observation, and a deeper understanding of its unique venom and its effects, medical professionals are becoming increasingly adept at recognizing the subtle whispers of its presence, ultimately guiding patients towards the timely and crucial care they so desperately need. Medical interventions and support. When the unseen dart of the Irukandji has delivered its potent payload and the insidious journey of the venom has begun its slow, unfolding torment, the immediate response becomes a critical confluence of swift action and compassionate care, a gentle but firm hand seeking to stem the tide of suffering. Unlike many other marine envenomations where the identity of the stinging creature is immediately obvious, the Irukandji's invisibility often means that a suspected sting relies on context, a sudden mild sensation in the water, followed by the dawning realization that something profound and unsettling is beginning to stir within the body. The very first intervention, a crucial act of immediate first aid at the water's edge, involves the application of vinegar. Imagine a small bottle of ordinary household vinegar, its familiar scent cutting through the salt air. This acidic solution, when gently poured over the suspected sting site, does not neutralize the venom that has already entered the body. Its purpose is far more specific and equally vital: to deactivate any unfired nematocysts that may still be clinging to the skin. These microscopic capsules, still coiled and ready to discharge, can continue to inject venom, if not rendered inert. By bathing the area in vinegar for at least 30 seconds, the chemical structure of the nematocysts is altered, preventing them from further firing, thus halting the ongoing delivery of the toxic cocktail. This simple act, though not a cure, prevents further envenomation, a crucial step in limiting the total amount of venom absorbed and potentially mitigating the severity of the developing syndrome. Following this initial first aid, the urgency of the situation quietly escalates. Any individual suspected of an Irukandji sting, particularly if symptoms begin to manifest, requires immediate medical evacuation to the nearest hospital or medical facility. The journey itself can be harrowing as the body's betrayal deepens and the full symphony of suffering begins to play. The focus during transport is on maintaining vital functions, ensuring the airway remains clear, and providing reassurance amidst the escalating pain and terror. Upon arrival at a medical facility, the atmosphere shifts to one of controlled urgency, a quiet ballet of focused expertise. There is no specific antidote, no single magical remedy that can instantly reverse the effects of the Irukandji venom. Instead, treatment is profoundly supportive, a meticulous and continuous effort to manage each escalating symptom, to gently guide the body back from the brink of chaos, allowing time for its own remarkable healing processes to slowly metabolize and eliminate the venom. This is a battle of endurance both for the patient and for the dedicated medical team. One of the most immediate and overwhelming concerns is the excruciating generalized muscle pain and cramping that grips the body with an unyielding force. To alleviate this profound agony, strong intravenous pain medications, often potent opioids such as fentanyl or morphine, are administered. Imagine the body racked with relentless, deep-seated spasms, every muscle screaming in protest. The controlled infusion of these medications brings a gradual, soothing wave of relief, a gentle dulling of the sharp edges of agony, allowing the muscles to slowly begin their release from the venom's relentless grip. Intravenous administration is crucial, as the severe nausea and vomiting often render oral medications ineffective, unable to be absorbed by a violently distressed digestive system. Simultaneously, the dangerously elevated blood pressure, a hallmark of Irukandji syndrome, demands immediate and careful attention. The venom's relentless stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system causes widespread vasoconstriction, a tightening of blood vessels that pushes blood pressure to alarming levels, placing immense strain on the heart and other vital organs. To counteract this, specific medications known as vasodilators are administered intravenously. Drugs like glyceryl trinitrate, also known as nitroglycerin, work by gently relaxing the smooth muscles in the walls of the blood vessels, allowing them to widen. Imagine the constricted pathways of the circulatory system slowly beginning to expand, allowing the blood to flow with less resistance, and thereby gradually, carefully lowering the perilous blood pressure. This delicate dance of titration, adjusting the medication to achieve a safe and stable blood pressure, requires constant monitoring and expert judgment, as a sudden, precipitous drop could be equally dangerous. Perhaps the most challenging and profoundly distressing symptom to manage is the doom syndrome, that overwhelming chemically induced sensation of impending death. While physical pain can be dulled, this profound psychological torment demands a different approach. Here, benzodiazepines such as midazolam or diazepam become invaluable. These medications act on the central nervous system, enhancing the effect of a calming neurotransmitter called GABA. Imagine the brain's alarm system stuck in a state of relentless, high-pitched screaming. Benzodiazepines work to gently quiet this alarm, to soothe the hyperactive neural pathways in the limbic system that are generating the profound terror. They do not merely sedate, they help to untangle the knots of fear, allowing a fragile sense of peace to slowly emerge, offering a much-needed, albeit temporary, reprieve from the overwhelming mental anguish. This allows the patient to rest, to breathe, and to begin the long process of recovery without the added burden of absolute terror. Due to the profuse sweating, relentless vomiting, and the body's overall physiological stress, dehydration is a significant concern. Intravenous fluids are administered continuously to replenish lost electrolytes and maintain hydration, supporting the body's metabolic processes and ensuring that the organs remain adequately perfused. This steady, quiet drip of fluids provides a vital lifeline, helping to stabilize the internal environment amidst the external chaos. Throughout this critical period, the patient remains under intensive monitoring, typically within an emergency department, a high-dependency unit, or an intensive care unit. Electrocardiograms, or ECGs, continuously track the heart's electrical activity, vigilant for any signs of myocardial injury or dangerous arrhythmias. Blood tests are performed regularly to assess cardiac enzymes such as troponin and creatine kinase, which can indicate damage to the heart muscle. Blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and respiratory rate are meticulously recorded, every minute fluctuation noted, every trend analyzed. The quiet hum of machines, the gentle beeps of monitors become the constant companions in this vigil, providing a continuous stream of data that guides the medical team's interventions. For those rare but critical cases where pulmonary edema becomes severe, impairing the ability to breathe, respiratory support becomes paramount. Oxygen is administered often through a mask to ensure adequate oxygenation of the blood. In the most extreme circumstances, mechanical ventilation may be necessary, where a machine gently breathes for the patient, allowing the lungs to recover from the fluid accumulation and the body to focus its energy on combating the venom. The journey through Irukandji syndrome is often protracted. While the most acute symptoms typically resolve within 24 to 48 hours, a lingering sense of weakness, fatigue, and muscle soreness can persist for days or even weeks. The psychological impact, particularly the memory of the doom syndrome, can leave a deeper, more enduring mark, sometimes leading to post-traumatic stress disorder or persistent anxiety, necessitating psychological support long after the physical recovery has begun. The ongoing research into Irukandji venom continues to hold the promise of developing more specific targeted therapies, perhaps even a true antidote that could neutralize the venom's effects directly. Scientists are meticulously working to unravel the precise molecular structures of each toxin, hoping to design molecules that can bind to and inactivate them. Until such a breakthrough emerges, the current approach remains a testament to the power of supportive medical care, a vigilant, compassionate, and precise management of symptoms, meticulously administered to guide the patient through the storm, allowing the body in its own time to slowly, gradually release its hold on the venom's molecular symphony of suffering. The Irukandji's ecological niche. Having explored the profound impact of the Irukandji on human physiology, our journey now gently shifts its focus, drawing back from the immediacy of human suffering to contemplate the creature itself within its natural realm. We shall drift into the intricate, shimmering labyrinth of the ocean, seeking to understand the Irukandji's place, its ecological niche, the delicate balance of its life within the vast, interconnected web of marine existence. For this tiny, potent jellyfish is not an anomaly. It is a perfectly adapted inhabitant of its world, a silent thread woven into the complex tapestry of life beneath the waves. The primary habitat of the Irukandji jellyfish, particularly the species Carukia barnesi, which is best known for causing the severe syndrome, lies predominantly within the warm tropical waters of northern Australia. Imagine the sun-drenched coastlines of Queensland, stretching from the tranquil, shallow estuaries to the vibrant, teeming ecosystems of the Great Barrier Reef. These waters, often crystal clear and invitingly warm, are precisely where the Irukandji thrives. While they are often associated with coastal areas, bays, and sheltered waters where currents are less turbulent, they are also found in the open ocean, drifting with the currents, sometimes far from the shoreline. The Irukandji is a pelagic organism for much of its life, meaning it primarily inhabits the open water column, drifting rather than attaching itself to the seabed. Its exquisite transparency, as we have explored, is its ultimate camouflage in this sunlit, fluid environment. It allows the creature to move through its world virtually unseen, a ghost among the plankton, a silent hunter in a realm filled with keen-eyed predators and swift-moving prey. This invisibility is not merely a passive defense. It is an active strategy for survival, enabling it to ambush unsuspecting organisms without giving away its presence. As a predator, the Irukandji occupies a fascinating position in the marine food web. Its diet primarily consists of zooplankton, the tiny drifting animals that form the base of many ocean ecosystems, and perhaps small larval fish. Imagine swarms of minute crustaceans, copepods, and other microscopic organisms propelled by the currents, their tiny bodies glimmering in the sunlight. The Irukandji, with its vast, almost invisible net of venomous tentacles, acts as a passive yet highly effective ambush predator. It simply drifts, extending its impossibly fine threads, waiting for an unwitting morsel to brush against its nematocysts. The rapid, potent sting quickly paralyzes the prey, which is then drawn towards the jellyfish's central mouth and ingested. This efficiency in capturing prey, despite its small size, allows it to sustain itself within a competitive environment. The life cycle of the Irukandji, like many other box jellyfish, is a complex and fascinating journey involving distinct stages that unfold across different environments. While the exact details for all Irukandji species are still subjects of ongoing research, the general pattern involves both a free-swimming medusa stage, the bell-shaped jellyfish we commonly recognize, and a benthic polyp stage which attaches to a substrate on the seabed. The medusa, the stinging adult form, reproduces sexually releasing eggs and sperm into the water. After fertilization, a tiny larval stage known as a planula develops. This planula larva then settles onto a suitable hard surface on the seabed, transforming into a small, sessile polyp. Imagine a miniature flower-like creature anchored to a piece of coral, a rock, or even a shell. This polyp stage is asexual. It can bud off new medusa, essentially cloning itself, or it can produce more polyps. This ability to reproduce asexually as polyps allows the Irukandji to establish stable populations in specific areas, creating localized hotspots where the jellyfish may be more prevalent. When environmental conditions are favorable, perhaps with warmer water temperatures and abundant food, these polyps can undergo metamorphosis, transforming into the free-swimming medusae, which then detach from the seabed and ascend into the water column. This transition from a benthic sessile stage to a pelagic motile stage is a critical part of their life cycle, allowing them to disperse and find new feeding grounds or mates. The timing of this metamorphosis and the subsequent appearance of large numbers of adult Irukandji medusae in coastal waters often correlates with the seasonal peaks of Irukandji syndrome cases, particularly during the warmer summer months in northern Australia. The Irukandji's position within the food chain is not solely as a predator, it also serves as prey for other marine organisms. While its potent venom deters many, some specialized predators have evolved mechanisms to cope with jellyfish stings. Sea turtles, for instance, are known to consume various species of jellyfish, their thick, leathery mouths and throats often impervious to the stinging cells. Certain fish species, too, may prey on jellyfish, though the specific predators of the tiny Irukandji are less well documented given its elusive nature. The Irukandji's small size makes it a potential food source for a wider range of marine life, despite its formidable defense. The Irukandji's success in its ecological niche is a testament to its highly specialized adaptations. Its small size and transparency provide camouflage and allow it to drift efficiently with currents, conserving energy. Its potent venom ensures effective prey, capture and defense against most threats. Its complex life cycle, alternating between sessile and free-swimming stages, allows for both localized population stability and wider dispersal. These combined traits enable it to thrive in the nutrient-rich, warm tropical waters, where it plays its role in the delicate balance of the marine ecosystem. However, the Irukandji's existence, like all life in the ocean, is not static. It is intrinsically linked to the broader environmental conditions of its habitat. Changes in ocean temperature driven by climate fluctuations can influence their life cycle, potentially altering their breeding patterns, growth rates, and geographical distribution. Ocean currents themselves, influenced by global weather patterns, play a crucial role in dispersing the medusae, carrying them to new areas, or concentrating them in specific coastal zones. The availability of zooplankton prey, which can be affected by nutrient upwellings, and broader ecosystem health, also directly impacts the Irukandji's ability to thrive. Understanding the Irukandji's ecological niche, its intricate life cycle, and its interactions within the marine environment is not merely an academic exercise. It is a critical endeavor that provides invaluable insights into predicting when and where these potent creatures might appear in greater numbers, informing public health initiatives and developing more effective strategies for ocean safety. By observing its life in the labyrinth of the ocean, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complex, often unseen forces that shape our planet's most mysterious realm, and the tiny yet powerful creatures that call it home. The Irukandji, in its quiet, transparent existence, reminds us that even the smallest threads in the web of life can possess profound significance, leaving an indelible mark on all who encounter their silent power. Distribution, habitat, and climate's embrace. From the intricate dance of the Irukandji within its immediate ecological niche, our perspective now gently expands, encompassing the broader canvas of the ocean itself, a vast, ever-shifting realm, influenced by unseen forces and global currents. We shall contemplate the creature's geographical distribution, its preferred habitats, and how the profound, overarching embrace of climate change is beginning to subtly, yet significantly, reshape its world, potentially altering the delicate balance between human activity and marine life. Historically, the Irukandji jellyfish, particularly the species Carukia barnesi, was primarily recognized as an inhabitant of the warm tropical waters off the northern coast of Australia. Imagine a shimmering band of ocean stretching from the northern reaches of Western Australia across the vast expanse of the Northern Territory and down the vibrant coral-rich coastlines of Queensland, often extending as far south as Fraser Island. This region, bathed in consistent warmth and abundant sunlight, has long been considered the heartland of Irukandji territory. These are the waters of the Great Barrier Reef, of mangrove-lined estuaries, and of open pelagic stretches, all providing varied environments that support different stages of the Irukandji life cycle. However, the understanding of Irukandji distribution is not static. It is a dynamic, evolving picture shaped by ongoing research and the subtle shifts in marine conditions. Over recent decades, there have been increasing reports and confirmed cases of Irukandji syndrome occurring in locations traditionally considered outside their primary range. Scientists and medical professionals have documented instances further south along the Australian coast and even in other tropical regions of the world, such as parts of Southeast Asia and the Caribbean. These observations suggest a potential expansion of their geographical reach, a slow, quiet creep into new territories driven by forces that are only now beginning to be fully understood. The Irukandji's habitat preferences are intimately tied to water temperature. These are creatures of warmth, thriving in seas, where the mercury consistently hovers above 26 degrees Celsius. They are often found closer to shore in the calmer, more sheltered waters of bays, estuaries, and around islands where the water warms more readily, and currents are less turbulent. However, their pelagic nature also means they can be carried by ocean currents far into the open sea, making their presence less predictable, and their exact location a constant subject of the ocean's whims. The complex interplay of tides, currents, and water depth influences where the tiny medusa aggregate, sometimes concentrating them in specific areas, creating localized hotspots of increased risk. And this brings us to the profound, overarching influence of climate change, a slow, undeniable embrace that is reshaping every corner of our planet's oceans. Rising ocean temperatures are perhaps the most direct and significant factor impacting the distribution and behavior of marine species, including the Irukandji. As the global climate warms, the average temperature of the ocean's surface layers steadily increases. For organisms like the Irukandji, which are highly sensitive to thermal conditions, this warming trend creates new opportunities for colonization. Waters that were once marginally too cool for their sustained presence are now becoming hospitable, allowing them to extend their range into previously uncharted territories. Imagine the thermal boundaries of their habitat, slowly, inexorably expanding poleward, both north and south. This phenomenon, known as tropicalization, is being observed across numerous marine species as organisms adapt their distributions to follow their preferred temperature ranges. For the Irukandji, this could mean a more frequent presence in popular tourist destinations further south, along the Australian coast, or an increased prevalence in other tropical and subtropical regions globally, where ocean temperatures are steadily climbing. This expansion is not a sudden, dramatic migration, but a gradual, almost imperceptible shift, year by year, as the ocean's thermal map redraws itself. Beyond direct temperature effects, climate change also influences ocean currents, those vast, invisible rivers that flow through the seas. Changes in global wind patterns, sea surface temperatures, and ice melt can subtly alter the strength, direction, and seasonality of these currents. For the Irukandji, whose medusae are largely at the mercy of these flows, such alterations can have profound consequences. Stronger or altered currents might transport them to new regions with greater frequency, or conversely disperse them more widely, making their presence less concentrated. A shift in current patterns could lead to unexpected aggregations in areas previously considered safe, or reduce their numbers in historically endemic zones, creating an unpredictable mosaic of risk. The life cycle of the Irukandji, with its alternating polyp and medusa stages, is also susceptible to climate's embrace. Warmer waters can accelerate metabolic rates, potentially leading to faster growth and earlier maturation of the polyps, resulting in a more rapid budding off of medusae. This could lead to extended stinger seasons, or even an increase in the overall abundance of the jellyfish. Scientists theorize that warmer temperatures might also influence the timing of metamorphosis from polyp to medusa, potentially leading to earlier or more prolonged periods when free-swimming, stinging adults are present in the water column. This could extend the period of risk for swimmers and ocean users, pushing the traditional stinger season beyond its historical boundaries. Furthermore, ocean acidification, a related consequence of increased atmospheric carbon dioxide absorption by the oceans, could also play a role, though its specific impact on Irukandji is less understood than on calcifying organisms like corals. However, changes in ocean chemistry can affect the entire marine food web, including the zooplankton that Irukandji feed upon. Any disruption to their primary food sources could in turn influence their populations and distribution. The intricate interconnectedness of marine ecosystems means that even subtle changes can ripple outwards, affecting species in unforeseen ways. The implications of these currents of change are significant, particularly for human populations in coastal regions. An expanded geographical distribution of Irukandji jellyfish means that communities and medical facilities in previously unaffected areas may suddenly find themselves confronted with cases of Irukandji syndrome, potentially without the necessary awareness, diagnostic experience, or established treatment protocols. This necessitates a proactive approach to public health, extending educational campaigns and medical training to new regions, preparing them for the potential arrival of this potent, unseen threat. For tourism, a vital industry in many tropical coastal regions, the implications are also considerable. An extended or unpredictable stinger season, or the appearance of Irukandji in new popular swimming locations, could impact recreational activities, necessitating increased vigilance, the use of protective stinger suits, and enhanced public warning systems. The delicate balance between enjoying the beauty of the ocean and ensuring human safety becomes an even more complex equation as climate continues its embrace. In essence, the Irukandji jellyfish, in its silent, transparent existence, stands as a subtle yet potent indicator of broader ecological shifts. Its changing distribution and behavior serve as a quiet biological barometer, reflecting the profound global alterations occurring within our oceans. Understanding these currents of change is not merely about tracking a tiny venomous creature. It is about grasping the interconnectedness of all life and recognizing that even the most minuscule inhabitants of the deep are intricately woven into the grand evolving narrative of our planet's future, a future shaped by the warming embrace of climate, ongoing research, and future safeguards. From the broad, sweeping currents of climate's influence, our attention now gently narrows, drawing towards the quiet, persistent hum of scientific inquiry. We shall explore the ongoing efforts to illuminate the remaining unknowns surrounding the Irukandji jellyfish, the dedicated research that seeks to unravel its deepest secrets, and the innovative approaches being developed to safeguard human lives against its potent, unseen power. It is a testament to human curiosity and resilience, a tireless quest to understand, to predict, and ultimately to protect. One of the most fundamental areas of ongoing research revolves around the Irukandji's very identity and diversity. While Carukia barnesi is the most well-known species associated with the severe syndrome, scientists now recognize that Irukandji is not a single species, but rather a group of closely related box jellyfish, each with potentially distinct venoms and ecological preferences. Imagine a family of tiny, transparent cousins, each sharing a similar appearance but possessing subtle yet significant differences in their genetic makeup and biochemical arsenal. Through meticulous morphological analysis, genetic sequencing, and venom profiling, researchers are working to identify and classify these different species. This detailed taxonomic work is crucial, as understanding the specific species responsible for stings in different regions can help tailor public health warnings and potentially guide the development of more specific treatments. The ocean in its vastness holds many such delicate distinctions, and unraveling them requires patience and precision. A key frontier in Irukandji research lies in the comprehensive analysis of its venom. As we have learned, the venom is a complex molecular symphony, but its full composition remains largely a mystery, a biological puzzle with many missing pieces. Researchers are employing advanced analytical techniques such as mass spectrometry and high-performance liquid chromatography to meticulously separate and identify each individual component of the venom. Imagine sifting through a handful of shimmering sand, isolating each grain, and then identifying its unique chemical fingerprint. This painstaking process aims to pinpoint the specific neurotoxins and other bioactive compounds responsible for each symptom of Irukandji syndrome, from the muscle cramps to the doom syndrome. Such detailed knowledge is the bedrock for developing targeted therapies. If scientists can identify the precise molecular keys that unlock the body's suffering, they can then design locks or antidotes that specifically block or neutralize those keys, offering a far more effective treatment than the current supportive care. Beyond the venom's chemistry, understanding the Irukandji's intricate life cycle remains a critical area of investigation. While the general pattern of polyp and medusa stages is understood, the specific environmental cues that trigger metamorphosis, growth, and reproduction for each Irukandji species are still being meticulously studied. Imagine trying to predict the blossoming of a rare flower without understanding the precise conditions of light temperature and soil it requires. Scientists are conducting laboratory experiments, carefully cultivating Irukandji polyps and medusae under controlled conditions, manipulating factors like water temperature, salinity, and food availability. This research aims to identify the triggers that lead to population booms, allowing for more accurate predictions of stinger seasons and periods of increased risk in coastal waters. The ecological role and behavior of the Irukandji in its natural habitat also continue to be subjects of intense scrutiny. How do these tiny, transparent creatures interact with their prey and predators? What are their daily movement patterns? Do they aggregate in specific depths or locations at certain times of day or night? Answering these questions requires innovative field research techniques. Imagine deploying specialized underwater cameras equipped with subtle lighting to observe these almost invisible creatures in their natural environment without disturbing them. Scientists are also exploring environmental DNA techniques, where they can detect the presence of Irukandji by sampling water for traces of their genetic material, even when the jellyfish themselves are not visible. This non-invasive method holds immense promise for mapping their distribution and understanding their presence in various ecosystems with greater accuracy. Translating this scientific understanding into practical safeguards for human safety is a paramount goal. Public awareness campaigns remain a cornerstone of prevention. Imagine clear, concise signage at beaches, educational materials, distributed to tourists, and targeted outreach to local communities, all designed to inform people about the Irukandji's presence, the symptoms of a sting, and the critical importance of immediate first aid with vinegar and prompt medical attention. These campaigns aim to empower individuals with the knowledge to protect themselves and to react effectively if a sting occurs. Technological innovations are also playing an increasingly important role in future safeguards. Researchers are exploring the development of advanced detection systems that could potentially identify the presence of Irukandji jellyfish in swimming areas. Imagine underwater sensors perhaps utilizing advanced imaging techniques, or even eDNA analysis that could provide real-time warnings of jellyfish presence, allowing for temporary beach closures or the deployment of protective measures. While still in early stages of development, such technologies hold the promise of transforming ocean safety, moving from reactive responses to proactive prevention. Another area of active development involves improved protective gear. While stinger suits, lightweight full-body lycra suits are already widely used in high-risk areas, research continues into developing materials that offer even greater protection against the microscopic nematocysts while remaining comfortable and practical for swimmers and divers. Imagine fabrics with even finer weaves or impregnated with compounds that further deter nematocyst firing, offering an enhanced barrier against the unseen threat. For medical professionals, ongoing education and training are vital. As the Irukandji's distribution potentially expands and new species are identified, it is crucial that clinicians, particularly those in coastal regions, are well versed in the characteristic symptoms of Irukandji syndrome, the nuances of diagnosis, and the most effective supportive treatments. Regular workshops, updated medical guidelines, and accessible resources ensure that medical teams are prepared to swiftly and competently manage these challenging cases, minimizing suffering and improving patient outcomes. Ultimately, the quest to illuminate the unknown surrounding the Irukandji jellyfish is a long, patient journey, a collaborative effort spanning toxicology, marine biology, ecology, and public health. It is a recognition that in the vast, complex tapestry of our oceans, even the smallest, most transparent threads can hold profound secrets and pose significant challenges. By continuing to delve into these mysteries, by patiently gathering knowledge, and by applying innovative solutions, humanity strives to find a harmonious balance with the powerful, often unseen forces of the natural world, safeguarding our future interactions with the ocean's intricate embrace. Contemplating the ocean's hidden dangers. As the intricate tale of the Irukandji jellyfish gently settles within our minds, its profound smallness and astonishing potency leave behind a quiet echo, a lingering contemplation of the boundless ocean and the myriad hidden dangers that still reside within its shimmering, ancient embrace. This minuscule creature, once a mere whisper of an unknown ailment, now stands as a potent symbol, a translucent messenger from the deep, reminding us of the limits of our perception and the vast unwritten chapters that still lie beneath the waves. For centuries, humanity has gazed upon the ocean's surface with a mixture of awe and trepidation, drawn by its beauty, its bounty, and its untamed power. We have charted its coastlines, plumbed its depths, and marveled at its colossal inhabitants. Yet the story of the Irukandji, a creature barely visible to the human eye, yet capable of inducing such profound physiological and psychological torment, serves as a humbling reminder that many of the ocean's most formidable forces are not found in the crushing jaws of a great white shark or the immense bulk of a leviathan. Instead, they often reside in the microscopic, the translucent, the fleetingly ephemeral, challenging our very definition of danger. Imagine the vast, inky blackness of the deep ocean where sunlight never penetrates, or the intricate labyrinthine passages of coral reefs, teeming with life in myriad forms. Within these environments, countless species exist, many still entirely unknown to science. For every creature we have identified, catalogued and studied, there are undoubtedly thousands more that remain veiled in mystery, their behaviors, their adaptations, and their potential interactions with humanity yet to be discovered. The Irukandji's long history of eluding detection, its slow reveal from local folklore to scientific fact, underscores this profound gap in our knowledge. It was a known force to indigenous peoples for generations, yet remained a scientific enigma to the Western world, until relatively recently, a testament to the enduring secrets held by the ocean. The Irukandji is but one example of a broader category of microscopic or near-microscopic threats that populate marine environments. Consider the myriad of harmful algal blooms, often invisible to the naked eye, which can produce potent toxins that accumulate in shellfish, leading to severe illness in humans who consume them. Think of the countless bacteria and viruses that thrive in marine waters, some benign, others capable of causing infections in swimmers or seafood consumers. There are other tiny venomous invertebrates, small sea snakes, minute cone snails, or other types of jellyfish, whose venoms remain largely uncharacterized, their potential impacts on human health still awaiting discovery. The ocean is a complex chemical soup, a biological crucible where evolution continuously refines both life and the potent compounds that mediate its survival. Our increasing interaction with the marine environment, driven by global tourism, expanding fisheries and offshore industries, inevitably brings us into closer contact with these hidden dangers. The allure of tropical waters with their vibrant coral reefs and warm currents draws millions of people each year, often placing them directly into the habitats of creatures like the Irukandji. As human populations expand along coastlines and our footprint extends further into marine ecosystems, the probability of encountering these unseen forces naturally increases. This growing interface between human activity and the wild, often mysterious ocean necessitates a deeper respect, a heightened awareness, and a continuous quest for knowledge. The narrative of the Irukandji also serves as a potent reminder of the delicate ecological balance within marine ecosystems. This tiny creature with its formidable venom is not an anomaly in its world. It is a perfectly adapted predator playing its role in the intricate food web controlling populations of zooplankton and larval fish. Its existence, its life cycle, and its distribution are intricately interwoven with broader environmental conditions. As we explored the subtle yet pervasive embrace of climate change, rising ocean temperatures, altered currents, changing ocean chemistry is subtly reshaping these ecological dynamics. These global shifts can influence the Irukandji's distribution, its breeding patterns, and its population density, potentially bringing it into contact with human populations in new ways and in new places. This interconnectedness means that our actions on land, our consumption patterns, and our global energy choices can have profound and unexpected ripple effects on the unseen inhabitants of the deep, altering the very nature of the hidden dangers we might encounter. The ongoing scientific research into the Irukandji, from its genetic makeup to the molecular structure of its venom, embodies a profound humility and an unwavering commitment to understanding. It is a recognition that even after centuries of exploration, the ocean still holds vast realms of the unknown, beckoning us with its mysteries. Each discovery, each new piece of information about its life cycle, its toxins or its habitat, is not merely an academic achievement. It is a step towards better safeguarding human lives, towards developing more effective treatments, and towards fostering a more harmonious coexistence with the natural world. This quest for knowledge is an eternal one, a slow, deliberate unveiling of nature's intricate designs, reminding us that even the most formidable challenges often reside within the smallest, most unassuming forms. The ocean in its eternal rhythm continues its silent, majestic dance, a realm of breathtaking beauty and profound power. It is a place of wonder of life in its most diverse and astonishing forms, but also a place where unseen forces hold sway, where delicate transparency can conceal immense potency. The Irukandji, a creature smaller than a fingernail with its whisper from the deep, and its molecular symphony of suffering, stands as a quiet, powerful testament to the enduring mysteries that lie beneath the boundless, shimmering surface, forever reminding us of the profound respect due to the wild, untamed heart of our blue planet, where even the most invisible threads can weave stories of awe and potent danger. And so, as we drift away from the shimmering, mysterious waters that hold the Irukandji, a profound stillness begins to settle. Even the smallest creature, like that translucent voyager, is woven from the same fundamental atoms that compose the vast galaxies. The very iron within your own blood, having journeyed from the heart of an ancient, distant star. You are a part of this endless cosmic flow, connected to every drop of ocean, every particle of stardust. As your consciousness begins its own gentle descent into the deep, mysterious currents of sleep, remember the ocean's profound quietude, its ability to hold both the known and the unseen. Your dreams, like the ocean's depths, are a realm where the ordinary gives way to the extraordinary, where the mind processes its own hidden currents and finds its deepest repose. May the gentle, dreamlike currents of the deep ocean cradle your rest, and may your sleep be as profound and boundless as the sea itself. Goodbye, and see you again.